You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan on AM 1280 The Patriot. I'm broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is also brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American Family agent, Kim believes that there is so much more to insurance than the policy itself. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Give her a call today at 651-482-1598 and tell her Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all your home and business maintenance needs. Call Start to Finish today at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
Did you know that the top reason renters do not renew their leases is not because of rent increases? The biggest complaint among renters and the most important gauge of renter satisfaction is how the management responds to maintenance requests. Responding to maintenance calls quickly and effectively makes for happy residents. Happy residents make for reduced turnover. Reduced turnover makes for better cash flow. That's just one of the hundreds, thousands of things you can learn from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, the best, most comprehensive resource in the state for owners of everything from a duplex to hundreds of units, and for townhome and condo associations as well. MHA holds 135 different classes each year for owners and on-site staff, including in-depth certification courses for maintenance and management professionals. In fact, the most widely recognized certifications for apartment industry professionals across the United States were designed right here in Minnesota by MHA. Find out more by visiting mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com.
I guess if we've had a theme for today's show today, it would be, we've been talking about the idea of, sometimes people have said, hey, isn't it always better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission? And that was our first story in the Star Tribune, with someone building a treehouse and not going to the city of Minneapolis asking for what kind of ordinances are in place, and now they have to tear it down. Our last was a caller, a listener who had concerns and wants to be able to do things in a very civil way, and I appreciate and I applaud her for her desire to want to make sure that things are done correctly. And by going through that process, it is not one of being a rabble-rouser, but instead it is going through that civil process that we have as Americans. And it's a great one to be able to civilly be able to get through and work through issues. And you can do that whether it's a city hall or a homeowners association. We've got one other here to wrap up today's show in, and this deals with St. Louis from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. In St. Charles, Missouri, there is a homeowners association or a development called Newtown. And Newtown is it's been underway for a couple years, and it will take a few more years. They said another 6 to 8 years before it's all finished, because we're talking about thousands of units, townhomes, condominiums, single-family homes, and the idea it's considered the new urbanism, where it is a planned community that will live so much more closely together so people can walk and bike, and they will have, they hope, the right mixture of businesses and schools and homes for everybody to be able to live. And so it'll be interesting to see how that takes place. So you've got a brand new associations being developed. 5 weeks into it, a person who purchases in that development finds out that the association requires that the insurance that you get on your home also name the association as an additional insured. Now, that's kind of a weird requirement. Now, usually you would ask someone to be an additional insured. That'll happen sometimes with the relationship with management company and a board. because if we're acting on behalf of an association and under their direction, we'll ask to be placed as an additional insured because we are working under the confines and under the obedience of the association. So if anything happens, we're not acting on our own. We're acting under the board, and so it should be insured. But it's kind of a weird thing. This homeowner said, "I've never heard of this before. That each homeowner's got to ask their insurance company to name the association as an additional insured." Problem is, you can't find that kind of insurance. The person tried to, and when they couldn't, they went to the association. They said, "Hey, this isn't working. There's no way to be able to do that." And then this person found out 5 weeks later, the association came back and said, "Oh, that requirement is not there anymore." And someone said, "Well, boy, how can an association make that change so quickly?" Well, it's easy. You need to have a majority of the association, but if it's under declarant rule, the declarant owns most of the association because it's just beginning to be built. So they can change those governing documents a lot more quickly. And it sounds like they did so. And they did so, why? Because it was right for them to do that. And they noticed it. There was one person who made a comment and said, how can the board say that they were right all along and did nothing wrong, but then why did they change it? Well, I just would like to say to that naysayer that, yes, they were in the right because it was written in the governing documents, and you need to abide by them. They did nothing wrong because they were asking for everybody to abide by them. But when they found out that it was going to be too difficult, why did they change it? Well, they changed it for several reasons. One, because people aren't just real difficult people who just want to see everybody, stuck with it. They said, okay, it's an unreasonable law, an unreasonable request. We'll make that change. The declarant knows, that's the wonderful thing about living in a free society with free markets, supply and demand. They probably would realize that, if we continued on with that demand, we're going to have a lot more of our supply left over because a lot fewer people are going to be able to buy because they won't be able to get that insurance. So my hat's off to this association, this declarant, for making that change. They did so. And so I just want you to know, if you live in an HOA, guess what? Boards do listen. Your voice does matter. Well, hey, have a great weekend, everybody. I look forward to having you here with me next Saturday on Where You Live. Have a great rest of the weekend.